Hi, Countyfairgrounds and Cool K here. Do I have the one, the only gene-cordova on the line with
Oh,
me?
yes, you sure do.
Hi, Mr. Gene. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Okay, so you're a ventriloquist and a comedic ventriloquist. How long you been doing that?
Yes, I have been doing this almost 40 years.
Oh, that's a long time.
It's a long
You know, yeah. One of the things that I always wonder about when we start these conversations is how in heavens did you get into this?
Yeah, well, I actually started, it was way back before the internet and even video and all that. I actually took a correspondence course, believe it or not, way back in the day, and it came with 3 cassette tapes and 30 little booklets, and that's how I learned.
That's different.
Yeah,
I haven't heard that. Haven't heard that in a while. Have you ever done anything else besides be a performer?
Yes, when I was younger, my kids were younger, I actually worked for the post office for about 16 years. And then in 1998, I was able to go full-time. So I've been full-time since 1998.
Okay. All right. So how many kids you got? I'm curious.
I have 3. One lives in Montana. The other one is in the movie industry. He lives in L.A. And then the youngest one, she lives in New Jersey.
So what did your kids think of this when they were younger?
It's something they always grew up with, so they just really didn't know any different because I started before they were born. So they just, I think it was fun for them. I used to travel a lot, in the summer especially when, and doing shows, and so they could come with, and it was fun for them.
Okay. Do you remember some of your first show experiences?
Do I remember my first show experiences?
Yep.
I do. Yes. I actually lived in the Seattle, Washington area, and so I was doing. Some of the first things I did was malls. Actually, I did shows in malls.
Okay. All right.
Which was kind of weird, but it really helped me because when people go to malls, they're not there to see a show. So, I had to learn to be really fast, quick on my feet, and quick to be funny, and quick to, to catch their attention and keep them for, 20 or 30 minutes or however long the show was, and try to keep them from going off and continue shopping and whatnot. So it was actually a really good experience, not one that I would suggest, but it just happened to be mine.
The comedian thing I get. Okay, that's pretty common. But this ventriloquist thing, where did that come from?
Yeah, it was one of those things. I actually saw an ad for to learn ventriloquism, and I actually I had a friend that was doing children's ministry, working with kids in church. So I thought about him, so I sent away for this little brochure, and when it came in, I thought, well, this is something I think I'd always, I'd like to do. I'd always been funny, and I used it here and there, and I actually, when I was a young teenager, I actually saw a ventriloquist one time that came to our church, and I just thought, wow, this would be something that maybe I think that I could really enjoy and learn, and I think I would be really good at it. And it's just something that once the lessons came, it's just something that I was instantly really intrigued with. I think I had a natural ability to it. I picked it up pretty quick, and I was, within a couple months I was doing shows, and so it was just something that was, fascinated me from the beginning, and something I've been with ever since.
Okay. Where did you get some of your first puppets, and do you know what they were like?
Yes, I've always used soft, Muppet style characters. So some of the first ones, of course, Steve Axtell, who's become a friend, actually a close friend of mine. Axtell Puppet Company. They were out of Ventura, California. He was some of my first. And then the guy that I actually learned from, he's no longer, he passed away, but Mayhew Studios, he used to sell some puppets, and so I, got some from him. And One Way Street, one of my very first puppets that I actually still have, was made by a gal. Her name was, I'm going to forget it now that I'm on the phone. But anyway, I'll remember here in a minute. Anyway, she was a gal that was in Florida, and she made these amazing soft puppets. And Jeff Dunham, his Peanut character, if you're probably familiar with that, she made him. She made the first one for him. Anyway, her name was Verna Finley, and she lived in Florida, and she made one of my first. He was an orangutan puppet, and he's actually still. I had one made duplicate because the old one wore out, but he's still a main feature in my show. His name is Bongo, and he's an orangutan, and I've used him all these years, really from the beginning. His character.
Okay, so you basically did malls. You started in the malls. Where did you go from there?
Yeah, malls, and I did a lot of work in churches. And then I did the school shows, and then I started to do fairs, and then we moved to Tennessee. We actually moved from Seattle in 2004 to the Knoxville, Tennessee area. And my kids were gone, in college or had moved on, and so we moved here mainly just to be closer to the greater population of the United States, and to make travel easier and things like that. And so when I moved here, then I started doing more fairs, schools, again, still churches, a lot of library shows. I started getting into the library market, and I do a ton of those now every summer. And
okay, so I'm Countyfairgrounds.net, and so do you do county fairs?
I sure do. Yeah, I've been doing fairs now for really, I used to do them on the West Coast when I still lived in Seattle. I did some fairs in Oregon and Washington and in Idaho. But then when I moved here, I've done fairs all over. I've done New York and Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, South Dakota, just about everywhere. Yeah.
Have you been overseas?
I have. I was at a convention in 2001, I think, and a guy saw me. He's actually from Tokyo, Japan, and he invited me to come and perform and teach at a ventriloquist convention in Tokyo. And this was probably like 2014 that I went and did that. And then I also did a kind of a mission, this type thing, but it was more of a puppet training and stuff in Panama City, Panama. Went and did that, and had performed some on cruise ships, just a little bit, here and there. But mostly, yeah. But yes, I've had the experience to be able to do that.
Okay. So when you do a fair, how long is the show, and do you bring all your own stuff?
Yes, I bring everything as self-contained. I have a 32-foot backdrop that I set up, and then I have a trailer, 22-foot trailer that I put behind it, and that's where I live, or that's where I stay during the fair. And then the show I do normally, it depends on what the fair wants, but I normally do 3 shows a day. The shows are about 25 to 30 minutes long.
Okay.
And I bring my own lighting, I bring my own sound system, and really the only thing I need is power and of course, the venue there.
So what's your favorite puppets that you have these days?
Gosh, the orangutan puppet, Bongo, he's, been with me for a very long time, so he's one of my favorites. But I also have an alligator puppet. His name is Tater the Gator, and he's become very popular. A guy out of the Philippines actually made him for me, and so he's something that I use at the fair. I also have a donkey puppet that the same guy from the Philippines made for me, and he's very popular at the fairs as well. So I have those two characters. I have a duck puppet that I use quite a bit at the fairs, and so I really like animals. Animals are, and fairs go together also, obviously. But I like animals because you can do all kinds of fun things, and for their background, and just comedy is, it's funny when animals talk, just like all the Disney cartoons and stuff like that.
So do you write your own stuff for the shows?
I do. I write all my own material, yes.
Okay, and how long, if you do a fair, is an average performance?
I'm sorry, say that again?
How long, when you do a fair, is an average performance?
When I do a fair, again, it's normally a 25 to 30-minute show, but it's normally 3 or 4 shows a day.
Okay. All right, and you're doing library shows? Do you do school shows still?
Yeah, I still do school shows, a lot of elementary school, and of course, it's got to have educational value to it. So I have a reading show, I have a science show, and I have a geography show and things like that. It's social study geography type shows, so those types of things. And then the library shows. Libraries have summer reading programs that they try to promote reading throughout the summer. And so they have different themes every summer. And I normally do between 60 and 70 library shows every summer. I usually, do 2, sometimes 3 a day. And it's just, it's a lot of fun.
Is there some place you'd like to perform that you haven't had a chance?
Trying to think. Not really. I think it would be fun to do a show at a venue like maybe a theater, like in Dollywood or not Dollywood, but Pigeon Forge or a theater somewhere. To do that for a year would be kind of fun, I think, to be a part of a show like that. But that's the only thing I can really think of because I really enjoy what I do right now.
Okay. Well, I have to always ask this question, too. Is there any thing that has made you rethink you doing this? I mean, have you had any bad experiences?
No, I've been very fortunate. I've met some of my very best friends in the world. Steve Petra, who I think you've talked to already. He's one of my best buddies. And so, I've just had a really great experience to have a lot of friends that I've been able to meet and grow with and learn from and, travel. And the travel has been amazing. I love to travel, and I still do. I've been to every state in the United States as well as Puerto Rico and 27 countries. So it's been a real, it's been great. Sometimes the travel and the driving, it gets tiring sometimes being on the road, but I mean, it's still better than sitting in an office someplace or in a cubicle, or working retail. I don't know. I've just never done any of those things. So, but to me, it just seems like, I just really enjoy what I love, and I enjoy what I do, love what I do. So even though sometimes, especially in the summer, it can get hot and working outside and doing stuff like that, but by and large, it's it's way better than anything else that I can think of.
Okay, you're not a grounds act, are you?
Yes, I do a grounds act. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's a little bit different.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I do. Mostly it's a grounds act type thing, because of the puppets and whatnot. So yeah.
So you got a wife?
I do. I have a wife, and she travels with me when she chooses to. It just depends. And when I do the libraries, it's it's just too brutal the schedule, and it's not fun. But when I do fairs, and I'm somewhere for a week or whatever, then sometimes she'll come with me if she chooses, and we get to be together. So that's kind of cool.
Okay, Gene. So who does your booking?
I do. I do pretty much all of my bookings. I do have an agent that does books church programs for me, but they probably book a half dozen things a year. It's not, it's not something that I really count on. They're kind of, they kind of extra. And then I actually just last month I ended up starting to work with a school assembly booking company that will hopefully book me some in schools, but I still do probably, right now I still do like 95% of my own bookings.
Okay, so how do people reach you?
Well, I have a couple of websites. My fair website is www.funnyfarmcomedyshow.com.
Okay.
And then my library website is www.gene-cordova-library-shows.com.
Okay. And your contact information is on those, I would take it.
It is, yeah. My, you just called my phone number, and then, my contact information is on the website.
Okay, well, I've thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. Sounds like you've had a great time with this.
I have. It's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm still enjoying it, It's one of these things that I think I can do for hopefully another 10 or 15 years.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jane.
Thank you. I appreciate you thinking of me and giving me a call. Thank you so much.
And we'll get this up, and hopefully you'll get some traffic from it.
Okay. And what is your website that you're going to have it up on?
Oh, I'll send you the information. Okay.
Oh, great. Yes, please do. That would be awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.